Hello, I'm Michael Pierce, and this is The Human Condition. Our topic now is proven methods to minimize inflammation and boost overall health. This question gets asked all the time is what are the stuff you can do to reduce inflammation? There's many kinds of inflammation, and one of the dangers that everybody gets involved in inflammation is they do stuff that produces more energy, and yet they produce more reactive oxygen species in their mitochondria too. So it's not always good to give yourself a stimulant that gives you more energy, like B vitamins or like caffeine or like methylene blue. There's certain things that, have a diminishing return. And so even though you've seen, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on a plane dripping methylene blue into his water, that's cool. And that may be good for some people for a short period of time, but there's some problems if you're not aware of the chemistry of these types of things. So if you try to boost another thing that happens is trying to boost mitochondria with blue light and green light. Chiropractors do this all the time. It's great to reduce pain, and it's great to try to help people heal by stimulating the healing of tissues and stimulating mitochondria's first three complexes with the electron transport chain by giving somebody a bunch of blue or green light. Problem is, the fourth complex in mitochondria, in the electron transport system, that makes energy, that makes ATP molecules that you've heard about, those things also generate a lot of reactive oxygen species. And reactive oxygen species are the thing that is inflammation to some degree. That is an oxidative stress, we call it. You may have heard of the term oxidative stress, which is one of the root causes of inflammation, because again, there's many kinds of inflammation. This idea is that we want to make sure we get enough red light to offset all those things. So if a person is doing some of these things like blue or green light, laser therapies, therapies at their chiropractor, they're doing methylene blue, they're taking DMSO, they're taking all these different hacks that they've learned about. Maybe they're taking a lot of B6 or B12 vitamins, or they're trying to boost their metabolism by using caffeine or nicotine. Those are all really interesting things, and there is some real merit to them, but there's also a boundary or a limit to them, and that limit is the reactive oxygen species and the inflammatory cascade. So inflammatory cascades include some things called chemokines or cytokines, and those are chemicals that are released all over your body. So if you sprain your ankle, or if you injure your gut, or you eat some bad food, or you drink too much alcohol, or you take some drugs that interact with you badly, or you have a reaction to a jab, your body cells could release these chemokines or cytokines. And all they are is chemicals that a tissue, like your heart or your ankle or whatever's injured, releases that tells the rest of the body, I'm injured, come and help me. And so those chemicals are immune chemicals, and they can cross the blood-brain barrier. Those are another kind of inflammation. So the really cool thing about all this is that we can actually reduce those inflammatory things that come from hormone disruptors and GMO and xenoestrogens, alien estrogens in the environment, like fragrance and all of the lotions that you put on your skin and deodorants and shampoos that we use, all those things that are full of chemicals and toxins, we need to break them down. So how do we break down toxins? I'm going to tell you a bunch of ways right now really quick. One of the ways we do it is milk thistle. Milk thistle is silymarin, and that's an herb that people can take, and it helps boost their ability to break down chemicals and break down chemicals of inflammation and break down estrogens and break down inflammatory cytokines. The problem is if you're taking medications like blood pressure medications or other type of psychotropic medications to control your anxiety or depression, you want to make sure that you're not taking them at the same time, and that you talk to your pharmacist and your prescriber, because they do help your liver break down more toxins and reduce inflammatory molecules. So they can change your chemistry and change your dose in possible ways. So you want to talk to those prescribers and pharmacists about those things if you have those things. Because remember, I'm not your doctor. Inflammation is free radicals. And so one of the best ways to control free radicals is to control where you have oxidation in your body. And believe it or not, saturated fat is one of the best ways to do that. So eating saturated fat. What is that? Butter, egg yolks, bacon grease from healthy pigs, steak fat, tallow, lard. All of these, if raised from healthy animals, are extremely healthy fats that are antioxidants. So really the best antioxidant in our universe is saturated fats in our diet. And another thing that really helps is, of course, infrared light. Infrared light helps to reduce the reactive oxygen species, as I've said many times, the RO, reactive oxygen species, ROS they're called. This even helps with preventing and making sure that a person is in very good shape with regard to the cancer environment. Americans get more cancer than any other population. And we need to understand this chemistry because we're doing it to ourselves. We're doing it to ourselves. Even in India, where there's a lot more problems with sanitation and availability of food, we have differences in cancer rates in the United States, and they just seem more robust over there in many ways, and they don't get the same cancers that we get over here because we don't know how to take care of ourselves. The things that we can do besides taking that herb that I mentioned, which is milk thistle, is to take turmeric and turmeric derivatives. Turmeric derivatives are an herb that really looks like a yellow potato. This is a very powerful medicine, and there are curcumin extracts that can be taken as extracts. Also, whole turmeric is very good. Whole dried turmeric isn't very easy to absorb, so people need high doses. They tend to take things like 3,000 milligrams or more, and they often take it as a liquid, and they often mix it with black pepper because that helps to absorb the turmeric. I like turmeric, and I've used it for many years. Again, I've mentioned many times that some of our carnivore and keto brothers and sisters don't like using natural herbs and plant foods because they're plant foods. I think that once a person goes keto and carnivore and is really largely not plant-based, they won't need those anti-inflammatories. But my work is about transition. Everybody is transitioning from their current lifestyle to their ideal on that mountain that they visualize in the future. But almost nobody can get there right away. So when you hear me say stuff like, switch from refined Cheerios to potatoes as your carb source, that's a temporary bridge, like Jack Kruse says. That's a bridge. That's not a whole lifestyle plan forever. That's a temporary transition. And some people need to transition from thing to thing to thing until they can get where they need to go. I think that trying to be a purist and say that, you must absolutely follow the purest carnivore diet or any diet right now is really difficult, and it will turn a lot of people off and will lose them, and they won't do this work. Whereas if we let them do this process of transitioning slowly, over the course of months to maybe even a year, their lives will be better and they can feel lots and lots of improvement, and they can dump all these crazy doctors that they've got. The big source of inflammation is pesticides, herbicides, chemicals. We want to get rid of chemicals. If you wouldn't eat it, don't put it on your skin. I really am serious about this. I have shampoos that I could eat. I have natural deodorants that I could actually ingest and feel safe eating. I have natural soaps. I have, natural types of anything I put on my skin is something that I could eat. I think it's really important to not use stuff that you couldn't eat. If you've got chemicals in there that are long chemical names or the word fragrance, it's really dangerous in my opinion. The other herbs that people can use, Boswellia serrata is one of my favorite herbs, Boswellia serrata. I also like N-acetylcysteine or NAC. I also like SOD, superoxide dismutase. You can get all these as supplements. Glutathione you can take. And in fact, one of my favorite things is that glutathione and NAC are really stolen by the liver if you take them orally or if you take them rectally. So I like to use lotions and creams and patches that have these things, glutathione and N-acetylcysteine, and also nebulizing. I think that works really well to breathe it in because you get it in through your lungs or your skin, and it'll go to all your organs. But if you take it orally or rectally as a suppository or as some kind of retention enema, you'll end up getting all of it go mostly to your liver. And that's great for your liver, but it doesn't go to the other organs. So that's a real problem, especially in the days of COVID when people were trying to take care of themselves and they were trying to deliver antioxidants to and detoxification molecules to their organs beyond their liver, like their heart and their lungs, which was really important in COVID and people that had jab problems where they were getting reactions to the jabs. I think it's important to test for EMF. You can buy inexpensive or expensive EMF meters. You need one that can test 5G, and you need to be able to carry it around and test different places and directions from your computers and from your screens and from your, if you've got a smart meter outside your house, God forbid, if you've got your phone near your bed at night, you got to get it far away or turn it off or put it in a Faraday bag. I also like to use omega-3 fats, EPA and DHA from fish oil or from algae from the ocean. It's a great way to do it. And so that's my quick and dirty lessons on inflammation. Thanks.